Okay, so we continue to our course content. Continue from the previous one. We can recap a little bit. So previously we talked about network service. Okay, network services. There were many services that we included. Okay, some of the main services that we use and also do in our lab are some of these. Okay, we have first we install and configure the DHCP service. Okay, we try to get our client the IP address from the server, and then we install and configure the NTP server service to provide the time synchronization service. And then the next one is DNS. So DNS is also one of the important network services. Okay, without the DNS, you cannot operate other kind of service like web server or directory service like Active Directory or LDAP, which we will talk about it in the later session. Okay. So យើង recap មកវិញតិចគឺតើតើនឹងលើកមុននិយាយតើតើនឹង network service លើខ្ញុំនិយាយច្បាស់ពីណាគេឆ្លោយទេ
លើឈើ
គេអញ្ចឹងនៅក្នុង network service ហ្នឹងវាសំខាន់ដំបូងគេមុនពេលដែលយើងទៅធ្វើអីផ្សេងទៀតមុននៅពេលដែលយើងទៅអាចតឡើង service ផ្សេងទៀតដូចជា web service directory service វាត្រូវធ្វើអា network service ហ្នឹងមុនគេអញ្ចឹងយើងមានជា DHCP យើងអាចអង្គុយ set IP address ទៅ client static IP ម្ដងម៉ាស៊ីនអញ្ចឹងវា CPU អញ្ចឹងយើងប្រើ DHCP អាហ្នឹងយើងដឹងហើយអ្នកខ្លះមិនទាន់ដឹងយើង familiar ជាមួយអាហ្នឹងហើយទៅតើមកយើងមាន time service ហ្នឹងគឺ simple ទេគ្រាន់តែ synchronize time ឲ្យ client ហ្នឹងមានម៉ោងដូចនឹង server ហើយបន្តមកបាន DNS អញ្ចឹង DNS ហ្នឹងគឺសំខាន់មែនតើគេនឹងអត់មាន DNS យើងអាច local DNS យើងអាចប្រើ communicate ជាមួយ server ដោយប្រើឈ្មោះ domain បានហើយចាឈ្មោះ domain ទៀតយើងនឹងយកវាទៅប្រើជាមួយនឹង web server ហើយនឹងdirectory server ហើយ web server មានក្រុម B និងក្រុម C បានធ្វើហើយនៅក្រុម A ខ្ញុំអីអត់បានធ្វើចឹងចាំធ្វើថ្ងៃអាទិត្យក្រោយ Okay. So these are important network services that we need to install and configure first on our server, especially Ubuntu server. Not just Ubuntu server, other kind of server like Windows server. So the question is, what make those services running? So we need to understand. Okay, it's important that we need to understand what control those services on our server. Okay. So there's actually it's just a program. There are program that's running in the background. As a background process. We call it daemon. Usually in the Unix operating system, we call it daemon, not daemon. Okay. And in the Windows server or Windows operating system, it just call service. So the program, sometimes we don't need to interact with it. We just install it and then it just run by itself. Okay, we don't need to do anything like update services. Okay, like window update. So usually a window update, we don't need to do anything. It's just running in the background. Okay. So window updates is also one of the service. But sometimes some services, some important services like in the network service, we need to configure. Okay, we need to configure so that it can run like we want it to run. Like those configuration files need to be configured so that the service know how to operate, like DNS or DHCP or NTP, etc. And then and so okay, and if we need to configure and edit those configuration files, we need to understand that we have to start and stop, and sometimes we need to check the current status of the services, whether it's running or not. Okay, so it's important for us as a system admin. So sometimes something is not working, we need to check the status of the service, whether it is running or not. Sometimes it doesn't run, it crashes, or it has some error in the configuration file, so we need to check it. And sometimes the service doesn't start automatically when our machine started to boot. Okay, sometimes it doesn't start up. We need to start up. We need to start the service manually. So it can be also configured to start up automatically when the machine boots. Sometimes the service doesn't start, so we need to enable it to start automatically. Okay. We will talk about it in the Linux and Windows environment. Okay. So in the Linux, we have a utility, a command line utility that used to control the service. Actually, this content, I prepared this content to let you understand that before you try to do the lab practice, but we skip. Okay, we skip. We cancel our class 2 weeks, so that's why it's late. Okay, so sometimes you don't know what to do in the lab. Sometimes I need to tell you that you need to start and stop the service. Okay. So now this content actually I want to reaffirm. Okay, reaffirm and confirm the rule. Okay. The general practice, the general rule, the best practice that we apply whenever we try to install and configure the service on our server. Okay. So in Linux, we have systemctl. Okay. We use it every time. Okay. Every time we try to configure the service. So we need to start it, we need to stop it, we need to restart it. Sometimes we need to enable it because the service doesn't start every time the machine boots. So we need to enable so that the service can start automatically. We also have another command utility called service. Okay, you can use this or you can use systemctl. Okay. Either one is okay. It works. They work the same. Yang mình gì online mà tốt thế service anh ấy vì run bán được sao tại vì anh đôi chỉ program cáiจะ say bị khởi không chứ cái vì mình program này cáiจะ say control service anh năng được khang khởi vào việc program nó vì run chỉ background process bây giờ service nó vì run bạnในขนมUnix พวก Unix operating system វាគេហៅវា daemon អូខេអញ្ចឹងហើយបាន package service ពីច្រើនក៏ទៅវាអក្សរវាគឺអក្សរ D អក្សរ D ហ្នឹងគឺdaemon ហ្នឹងឯងអូខេគេ NTPD ឬក៏ATTPD មាន service ពីច្រើនដែលបញ្ចប់ដោយកតុយ D ហ្នឹងគឺ daemon នៅក្នុងពួក Unix នៅក្នុង Linux ហើយ service ខ្លះយើងគ្រាន់តែតម្លើងទៅវា run auto តែម្ដងគេអត់ត្រូវការedit configuration អីទេគេអត់ត្រូវការ configure អីទេ service ហ្នឹងគ្រាន់តែតម្លើងហើយវា run យកទៅហើយ service ខ្លះយើងត្រូវ configure អូខេដើម្បីឲ្យ service ហ្នឹងវាដើរទៅតាមអ្វីដែលយើងចង់បានទៅតាម infrastructure ទៅតាម architecture ទៅតាម network ដែលយើងមានចឹងដូច DHCP ដូច DNS ដូច NTP អីហ្នឹងគឺយើងត្រូវការ configure វាអញ្ចឹងរាល់ service ទាំងអស់តែមាន configuration file ទាំង Linux ទាំង Windows ក៏វាមាន configuration file វាដែរបើតែយើងអត់ដែលប្រើទេយើងគ្រាន់តែចុច click UI អញ្ចឹងពីច្រើននៅក្នុង Linux យើងអត់ដែលប្រើ UI ទេយើងដើម្បីធ្វើឲ្យ service នឹងដើរទៅតាមអ្វីដែលយើងចង់បានយើងត្រូវទៅចូលទៅក្នុង configuration file វាហើយ edit file ហ្នឹងមាន parameter មានព័ត៌មានអីខ្លះដែលយើងត្រូវបន្ថែមត្រូវកែនឹងយើងកែនៅក្នុង configuration file គេអាហ្នឹងយើងគ្រាន់អាហ្នឹងវាជាអ្វីដែលយើងធ្វើនៅក្នុង lab យើង family ហើយយើងយើងគ្រាន់តែនិយាយឡើងវិញឲ្យយើងច្បាស់អូខេព្រោះមិនតាន់ច្បាស់ទេឲ្យយើងច្បាស់ឥឡូវហ្នឹងយើងធម្មតាទៅ configure install configure ត្រូវ start ទេអូខេគឺការ switch ខ្លះអត់ start ខ្លួនឯងទៅចុចឲ្យវា start ហើយពេលខ្លះបើយើងកែអីកែខាងក្នុងនឹងខុសពីមុនយើងត្រូវ restart server ហ្នឹងឲ្យវាដើរទៅតាមឲ្យយើងកែហ្នឹងហើយពេលកែហើយទៅ check មើល status ទៀតថាវាដើរអត់ឬកែហើយ error អីចឹងអត់បានមើលវាអត់ដើរទេតែ check status អត់ធ្វើដើរក្នុង lab យើងធ្វើដើរហើយ server ខ្លះវាអត់ start auto ទេពេលយើង start ចឹងទៅហើយយើងបិទ server អញ្ចឹង shut down server អញ្ចឹងក៏ពេលបើកឲ្យវិញក៏វាអត់ start ដែរអញ្ចឹងដើម្បីឲ្យវា start auto រាល់ពេលដែល machine boot ហ្នឹងយើងត្រូវ enable វាអូខេនៅក្នុង Linux យើង enable នៅក្នុង Windows យើងដូចជាមានពាក្យឲ្យវា start auto អញ្ចឹងនៅក្នុង Linux យើងមាន command line utility ដែលយើងប្រើដើម្បី control service ហ្នឹង system អានេះ system D system daemon អូខេយើងប្រើ system CTL ហ្នឹងពីច្រើននៅក្នុង distribution ផ្សេងប្រហែលជាអាចមាន utility ផ្សេងតែពីច្រើននៅក្នុង Linux ដូចយើងបន្តទៅហ្នឹងគឺយើងប្រើ system CTL ឬក៏អាចប្រើ service នេះអូខេនេះ system CTL start service ឈ្មោះអីដាក់ឈ្មោះហ្នឹងមកហើយបាទ service នេះយើងដាក់ឈ្មោះ service មុនហើយចាំបានយើងប្រើពាក្យ start ប្រើពាក្យ start stop អីចឹងដូចគ្នាដើរដូចគ្នា in the Windows, in the Microsoft Windows operating system, we can use GUI, okay, or we can use command line as well in the Windows PowerShell. Okay. So mostly we just use GUI. You can just search for service, okay, and then you can start and stop the service that you want to interact with. You can check the status whether it is running or not. Okay, just right click and then start the service like that. Okay, simple in the Windows operating system. And if you want to know the status of all the services in the PowerShell, we can just use command line like get service. It will display all the running and all the services that are available in the Windows. Okay, so that's about managing services in the operating system, server operating system. And then we need to know, okay, we need to know how to configure those services to meet what we want, what we need. Okay. For example, if you run in the DNS server, we have to configure the DNS zone. Okay, and that DNS zone it depends on the IP address, the network that we use. Okay, just like our practice in the lab practice. So it also depends on the environment that we work in. Okay, so sometimes we can have many local networks. So to be able to configure the DNS servers, we need to include all the local network inside the zone configuration file that we edit or configure. And if we are running a web server and we want to have multiple site, okay, multiple virtual hosts, we need to also configure as well. Okay, because our web server can handle many websites, not just one website. Okay, can have many URL or many ports, not just one. Okay? So we also need to configure, depend on the needs that we have. Okay. Nhưng thời check configure service ការ configuring service ហ្នឹងគឺ depend ទៅលើតម្រូវការរបស់យើងដែលយើងចង់បានអូខេចឹងឧទាហរណ៍ដូច DNS server វាមាន zone របស់វាអូខេមាន forward zone និង reverse zone ហើយ zone ហ្នឹងវាអាស្រ័យទៅនឹង IP address ដែលយើងមាននៅលើ server យើងហ្នឹងជួនកាលមិនមានតែមួយទេជួនកាល DNS server ហ្នឹងវាអាចមាន name server ច្រើនអូខេដើម្បីធម្មតាវាថាមាន primary ហើយនិង secondary ដែលគេចំណាំធ្វើអត់ដល់តែនៅក្នុង lab យើងធ្វើតែ primary ជាទូទៅគេមានច្រើនដោយសារតែខ្លាច server មួយ handle អត់រួចឬក៏វា crash ឬក៏វា error អីវាមាន secondary server ជួយតែហ្នឹងបើមិនជាមានច្រើនយើងមាន IP address ច្រើនហើយយើងត្រូវ configure ទៅតាមហ្នឹងដែរអូខេហើយបើសិនជាយើង run web server នៅលើ server យើងហ្នឹងយើងជួនកាលយើងមិនមែនមាន website តែមួយយើងមាន website ច្រើនអីចឹងក៏យើងត្រូវ configure ទៅតាមហ្នឹងដែរ website ច្រើនដាក់លើ server តែមួយអូខេ server មួយហ្នឹងដាក់បាន website ច្រើនដើម្បីឲ្យ server មួយមាន website ច្រើនយើងត្រូវ configure ទៅតាមហ្នឹង អ្វីដែលយើងអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំនិយាយមិញហ្នឹងគឺជាអ្វីដែលយើងនឹងធ្វើនៅក្នុង lab ហ្នឹងឯងអូខេជាងក្រុម B ក្រុម C បានធ្វើខ្លះហើយមានអ្នកធ្វើចេញមានអ្នកធ្វើអត់ចេញអញ្ចឹងអូខេខ្ញុំថាយើងអាចធ្វើបានទាំងអស់គ្នាជា result ចុងក្រោយយើងគួរតែម៉ោងហ្នឹងអូខេthe expected result that I want from this course okay is that you are able to host your website on your own server okay that's the least objective that I want everyone to have okay so at least you know how to host your own website if you have your own server okay so on the Windows okay just like I mentioned most configurations are stored in the registry if you ever know okay so we can go to registry editor okay on the Windows so when you what you see here are the configuration file that that interact or running the service that we see up here okay so if you change the value in here it will affect the service they are running in the operating system okay so there are many folders many value in the registry editor okay so these are the configuration file in the Windows okay you can use command line as well if you know and on the Linux configuration file is very simple and easy to find just like we did in the lab practice so mostly all the services configuration file are stored in the etc okay so every time you use the text editor like now you will have to find the configuration file in this folder okay like the EZP it's stored in the EZP is stored in the where what location so we have etc the EZP and then the EZPD something like that okay so every service is on the Linux store its configuration file in the etc directory okay គឺគ្រាន់តែចង់ឲ្យយើងនឹងចង់រំលឹកយើងឲ្យច្បាស់អូខេជាការអ្នកខ្លះចេះតែខ្ញុំដាក់អីគេឲ្យទៅចេះតែរ៉ានទៅថាអត់ដឹងថាអីគេយើងពីច្រើនខ្ញុំឲ្យយើងទៅកែ configuration file នៅក្នុង folder របស់វាហ្នឹងអា folder របស់វាហ្នឹងគឺសឹងតែទាំងអស់វានៅក្នុងហ្នឹងឯងអូខេនៅក្នុង etc folder ហ្នឹងយើងបើសិនជាលើក្រោយយើងតឡើង server ថ្មីទៀតយើងទៅនៅក្នុងហ្នឹងទៅឡើងតែឃើញហើយអូខេវាអត់នៅណាផ្សេងក្រៅពីកន្លែងហ្នឹងទេ Okay, I think that is all for the content today. Because the next topic is about the software and platform services, which will talk about some of the software and the platform services like mail service, web service also included in there, and also productivity services like email and I think it's mostly related to file services like FTP, okay, and also printing service, because in the network we also need to work with the peripheral device like printer, scanner, or a security camera. Okay, so those are included in the software services. So it's a kind like a big topic. So I don't think I can cover today. So we will cover it in the next session. And then for the next part, we will have an assignment. So it's just a small assignment. Okay. After this assignment, you will use this on the lab, in the lab session. Okay. You will continue to use this. So it's about the remote SSH. Okay. So previously, usually when we try to interact with our server, we log in directly. Okay. In the server. Okay. So it's kind of like not really a good practice, because in the real practice, most of the time we just need to remote from somewhere else. We can't always be present physically next to the machine. So it's a good practice if you can remote from somewhere else. Okay. So OpenSA is one of the secure remote services that we always use. Okay, mostly we use OpenSA. So your task is to install and configure OpenSA. It's just a small service. Okay, you don't need to do much. You can try to Google or use my support material. Okay. So the result should be like you are able to remote to your server. So my server, okay, let me show you. So my server, I don't need to do anything. I just start it, and then I can remote it from. I can remote to the server from my host. Okay, using SSH client. The popular one is PGT. Maybe some of you are already familiar with the PGT program. Okay, and then I will remote to the. First, before I remote, I will check the connection first from my host. Okay, I will try to ping my server if I have connection or not. So I don't have currently. I don't have any connection with my server on the virtual machine. So I think the problem is because of the network adapter on the my Windows host. Okay, so I need to restart my network adapter. So the VMnet 1 and the VMnet 8 of the host is not working, so I need to disable and enable it. Okay, and then I will check the connection again. Okay, so it's working. So when we have connection, then I will try to remote it from Qt using SH secure remote protocol. Okay, so the SH service is running on port 22. okay. I can log in. So every time later in the lab session, you can just remote to the server and do most of the configuration tasks on the duty instead, because it's I think it's easy for you to use rather than do it on the virtual machine. Okay. Sometimes you cannot copy paste inside the virtual VMware workstation or virtual machine. So if you use the remote service, then we can do anything. Okay. So try to do it. So you should have this kind of result, okay, and screenshot the result and upload to the assignment that I am about to create right now. Okay. Chẳngនេះគឺជា assignment យើងដែលយើងត្រូវធ្វើការងារគឺត្រូវធ្វើហ្នឹងគឺតឡាង SH Open SH server ហ្នឹងគឺឈ្មោះ Open SH នៅក្នុង YouTube តឡាងហើយវាអត់មានត្រូវការ configure អីមកទេចំណុចសំខាន់គឺយើងត្រូវបើសិនជាយើងមាន firewall យើងត្រូវ so if your firewall on the server is running, you need to check if the server firewall block the port or block incoming connection from any port or not. So to check it, we usually use UFW, okay, the firewall. So you can just use sudo UFW status, and you can see all the rules that we added previously in the lab session. So these are the rules that we used to add, that I used to add. Okay, so this is the port. Okay, these numbers are the ports that we allow. So port 1, 2, 3, port 53 here is the DNS server. Port AT&T mostly used on the web server, and here port 22 is used for the Open SSH, the SSH service, secure remote cell. Okay, so if your firewall doesn't allow the port 22 yet, you need to add a new rule to allow it. Okay, so to do that, you can just use sudo UFW allow. So you can just use the name of service, okay, like SSH. Okay, so I already added it, so it doesn't add again. Okay, so try to don't forget, okay, don't forget about the firewall, because sometimes we forgot about the firewall, and our service is not working from the client, and we need to check it. Okay. Chẳng complete firewall. Chẳng service ទាំងអស់វាច្រើនគឺវាមាន port របស់វាដែលអាចឲ្យ client access តាម port ហ្នឹងបានចឹងបើសិនយើងបើក firewall ហើយអត់បាន allow port ហ្នឹង client access មកចូលទេអូខេវា block incoming request មកចឹងធ្វើបងអូខេ assignment អូខេដើម្បីយើងធ្វើហើយទៅនៅក្នុង lab លើក្រោយយើងប្រើ remote មកទៅកុំបាច់ចូលនៅក្នុង VMware អង្គុយ config ក្នុង VMware ដែលវាអាចវាអត់ស្រួលធ្វើ ai upload ជារូបភាពមកណារូបភាពតែមួយអា result យើង image result ដែលយើងនេះនេះអូខេPUT download ពីអ៊ីនធឺណិតមកអាហ្នឹងទូចមួយហ្នឹង PUT.ee ពេលលើកក្រោយយើងប្រើហ្នឹងរហូតក៏ deadline tonight because I believe that some of you are not present here. Okay. For the M1 chip user, okay. Net per chip M1. Chi assignment okay យើងពិបាកធ្វើតិចយើងទៅ research ណាគេប្រើ chip M1 លើកដែរមានអ្នកប្រើ chip M1 នៅក្នុងហ្នឹងឯងគណៈអស់ហើយដេកអស់ហើយឡូវលើខ្ញុំនិយាយមានអ្នកខ្លះខ្ញុំអត់ដែរឃើញម៉ោងនៅក្នុងម៉ោង lab ទេតែអត់ដែរជួបមុខគ្នាហ្មងយល់អ្នកខ្លះអត់មកសាលាឬក៏ឥឡូវគេមកសាលាទាំងអស់គ្នាមានអ្នកខ្លះអត់តមកទៀតឬក៏មានអារម្មណ៍ថាមានអ្នកខ្លះគឺអត់ដែរឃើញឬក៏អត់ដែរឃើញហ្មងអញ្ចឹងបើសិនជាអត់តមកសាលាទេខ្ញុំសូមមកសាលាផងគេប្រយ័ត្នវាមានបញ្ហាតាធ្លាក់ឬក៏ធ្លាក់គឺជារឿងធំណាដោះស្រាយចេញគេអញ្ចឹងមានបញ្ហាអីសូមប្រាប់ជាព័ត៌មានឲ្យហើយផ្ដល់ជាព័ត៌មានហើយកុំចាំដល់ថ្ងៃចុងក្រោយចាំដំណោះស្រាយហ្នឹងវាពិបាកណាអញ្ចឹងមកសាលាផងអ្នកមិនតាន់មកផងព្រោះពីចឹងម៉ោងទេពេយើងធ្វើតែម៉ោងទេពេច្រើនហើយដើម្បីឲ្យ enforce យើងឲ្យធ្វើឥឡូវគឺបានថាចាប់ពីទៅក្រោយទៅខ្ញុំចាប់ផ្ដើមឆែក progress lab ហ្នឹងថាធ្វើដល់ណាគេព្រោះធ្វើដល់ឥឡូវវា5 session ហើយគេអញ្ចឹងបើធ្វើអត់ទៅមុខអាហ្នឹងអត់កើតទេហ្នឹងគេនឹង check ម្ដងមួយមានជាបន្ទុកជាអីដាក់ក្នុងហ្នឹងគេអញ្ចឹងទេយើងអត់ធ្វើទេហើយអ្នកប្រើ chip M1 អត់នៅក្នុងហ្នឹងទេខ្ញុំប្រាប់ឲ្យយើងធ្វើអីណាអ្នកប្រើ chip M1 ពេលអ្នកប្រើ chip M1 ដេកអស់ហើយអត់ស្ដាប់លឺអត់លឺខ្ញុំនិយាយនិយាយតែឯងមួយថ្ងៃទេHello
លើខោ
ភ្លេចប្រាប់ upload the result Any question? Any question? So to sum up, I can sum up right now. This content is just to to recall, to recap all the things that we have done so far about the
some deadline ngay ở Tết đó chờ.
mệt chẳng. Ăn cái đồng flat này, xong deadline hạt tới.
Research đây là chờ.
Research ăn còn thơ đồng flat tê. Cho rằng những mơ đồng flat hay tà lang SA hay tà lang hay complete port hay configure entity tới. Hay remote mà, remote can be hospitality remote. So in the OpenSH service, usually we can do two things. The first, we can remote to our server with the username and password. We can use password, but in most practice, in the real practice, mostly they don't. If we use SSH, we don't use password. We use key. We use public key. But I think it's not for you right now. Okay, we will try to implement the key, generate a key, public key in the lab session. So if we can configure our OpenSSH service to not use password, okay, use key only. And if we do that, we need to have a key every time we try to remote to the server. But that's for the lab practice, and this assignment is I only want you to remote using password, okay? Just password only. So if you can remote with password, and it's okay, it's fine. It's good. And later you can just remote. Yeah, OpenSSH number cái bị chán cái password này rồi về lại cái remote rồi. Của password vì cái đăng cái luật bàn này chẳng nhưng bây giờ cái key cái generate key chỉ public key hay public key nhưng store này là các bạn đấy cái nông messenger đó ok chẳng là lời khói dương remote tới dương vô key này upload key này tới server ấy vì mà kia per encryption này chẳng ok và khi nó chia encrypted file này làm bài generate ban cái encrypt ấy ở hết nhưng vì secure okay chiên per password ta lấy nhầm dương per encrypt public key encryption này thế remote per password mà vì rồi thế tà lang hay remote tới complete by port mà chân vậy result chẳng đó và thay chứ là ở đây trong ai phơi đó vì mình cho ăn thì okay. Và thay chứ mình sẽ focus là network rồi có system admin mà thế mơ từ này mơ từ nhom phe óc hay là mơ từ flat rồi có chuyên phơi từ tích của việc trái nhà này ha ok miền bài hai ở số trong lab discussion forum mình lời chia issue mà chủ nhầm chủ fix lúc ra tới chương ở first stop hả nó các bạn việc phơi bạn ấy thì ở trên ý thế nhưng nè khác cứ cái thôi chơi nhìn tới cái thôi chơi off nhìn tới nè khác thôi ở trên như thế hay bài hát mà xua chui fix out bài hát nó không problem in the network configuration could be many things. Okay, we need to check step by step, just like the advice, the tips that I used to give you in the previous sessions. Okay. You need to record everything that you did. Okay, every command line, every step that you do on the network, on the system, so that you can try to identify what went wrong, what is the issue in the system. Okay.
Lúc cô đặt
Nhìn
deadline tới gật ba này.
vậy.
Deadline ai tới gật ba này lúc cô.
Mặt bà này.
Ô lúc cô ơi.
Nhờ sao
Ngày
cái
năm
cốc
tới
mau
gật
thì
mơ khổ khní cô ơi.
đây kìa.
Nè khá cái đa lên ó khá bà rồi.
Đa lên nó thơ bà. Đa lên nè.
Cái hồ đi phụ nhóm ấy mình thử tới nó ơi.
Tới chứ thử mau step in đã. Mau step thơ tầm play đó chào.
Ai mà ngay tới lúc cô ơi. Mà ngay xong có khá mà ngay xong. Ngay từ.
Cho bà thà mà ngày nó thời thăm đa nhưng trong đạo mà mọi người đã deadline tới điều mà thời đã du bấy ọt vừa.
Lúc cô có cho người ta hoạt động mình đã mà tật lời đã tập pi ngay sau nằng. Pi ngay mau.
Lấy đã tham tập pi mau thì nhóm đã tới mà ngay là sao là bao nhiêu mình chỉ thông mấy thể về tuổi mũi nữa cho chuyện thơ cái mình khá thơ mình bay hai tiết
Nhưng ó hay là cô.
okay, I can try to sum up again for today's session. So we recall what we learned previously about the network services. Okay, so I believe, I hope you understand each service, how it works. Okay, I don't need to remind you again. Okay, so you need to understand why we need these services in the system. Okay, in computer science degree, if you don't know how a system works, what make the connection between device to device or application to application, I think you miss something, like you lack something. Even though you want to work in the software development career, you also need to understand how things are working. Okay. Bây giờ trong tôi thôi cái đó có chuyện thật đáng đai ở năng này kia mà năng vì ở đa sẽ là nó viên tẹt tôn này khác vì tẹt tôn năng là bởi khác chỉ phải xe nẹt thua nó không nông điều ọp DevOps, okay, DevOps, DevOps developer or DevOps administrator, DevOps engineer. Okay, if you don't know this kind of thing, it's a problem. Okay. So I hope you all understand all the important network services. Okay, and then you need to know and understand how these services are running or are operated, so that you can control it. Okay, can control it using some utility, like in Linux you can use some CTL. In Windows you can just use PowerShell, or you can use EUI. Okay, it's easy. Okay. And you also need to understand how to configure those kind of services. So generally, every services have its own configuration file, and also it depends on the network environment. It depends on the needs that we have. Okay, what we want. So you can configure it accordingly to our needs. Okay, so I think that's all. And do not forget to do this assignment. Okay. And at the next session, I think the next session will be also online. You want to do it online, or I think in class it's better. We can see each other face to face, and I can try to know you better, and can try to I think the conversation is better in offline class, and the online class is kind of I'm talking alone. Okay, in the big lonely dark room. So but our room in 403 is kind of not suitable to use. So what do you think? You want to do it online again, or in class? Trong online ដដែលឬក៏នៅក្នុងថ្នាក់វិញមាន
ឆើតសុំស្លាតទៅរៀននៅបន្ទប់4x4ច្រើនដូចជាមាន slide មានអីដើរ4x4
4x4គេយកបាត់ហើយខាងថងកំងយកបាត់ហើយទាំងអាចធ្វើអីកើតចំងផ្សេងមានលោកគ្រូណាអ្នកគ្រូណាប្រាប់ថារៀនអីគេអនឡាញ offline ទឹកក្រោយតើដឹងដែរ
Ở mình khổ giấy ấy hả khổ?
Chứ okay, I will check with the classroom again whether we can use projector or we can use internet, because internet is important. Okay, without internet the class is kind of difficult to do. Okay. So if we don't have the necessary utility to use, we will move it to online class. I will inform next week before our session start. And lab practice, we will continue to do it as usual, normally. Okay. Lab discussion. Anyone has any problem want to ask or not?ក្រុម A អត់បានរៀនទឹកមុនមានម៉ោងណាថែមបានទេខ្ញុំមើល schedule No.
ថ្ងៃថ្ងៃច័ន្ទហ្មងគ្រូ
ចាំម៉ោងបាន
9 11
តនេះហ៎
តនេដោយសារត network អស់ម៉ោងឯហ្នឹង
អូខេ network ចប់ហើយនៅប្រឡង
ប្រឡងឈប់មេហើយអី
អូអូខេចឹងថ្ងៃច័ន្ទបានចឹងម៉ោង 11 តែថ្ងៃយើងរៀនអីដែរ
ថ្ងៃរៀនគ្រូ
អូខេអត់អីចឹង រៀនក្នុងថ្នាក់
ថ្ងៃ
អូខេអត់អីចឹងថ្ងៃច័ន្ទម៉ោង 9 បាទបន្ទប់យើងទប់ណាឡើយមុនយើងទប់នឹងដែរទេ200 306ហ្នឹងហើយ306 Okay. So I think I think we can conclude the first session. Okay. And the second session we will try to discuss on our lab practice. Anyone has any problem, you can raise your issue and I will try to fix it. Okay. But okay, so for those who already completed the lab and doesn't have any problem, okay, everything went well, you can continue to to do the assignment. And I think that's all for you. Okay, you don't need to do anything else. So for those who don't have any problem, you can rest. Okay? But for those who have problems, you must ask. Okay. Anyone? And the reward. So yesterday who completed this one. So for those who completed, the team that completed it, please send your result and to me, and I will give you the reward. Okay. These are the reward. Okay. If you don't need it, if you don't if you don't need it, just give to the member that might need it. Okay. Đó này. Là cái thứ hai giờ mình nhà rụt visa lại phòng. Nơiក្រុម A មួយទៀតក្រុម A ចាំឲ្យធ្វើឲ្យផ្សេងទេក្រុម B ក្រុម C គេធ្វើឲ្យមិនចឹងណាគេលុបណាគេទៅលុប assignment ផាតយើងសហណាបាទអូខេខ្ញុំ upload PDF វិញចឹង upload PowerPoint ទៅយើងកែរហូតអូខេមានaiគេមានបញ្ហាអត់ចង់ fix ឲ្យហើយអីក៏អត់ធ្វើទេថ្ងៃហ្នឹងអត់ចង់ធ្វើទេ
chờ ta bất chợt ai bịa ở deadline đo ngày chán chờ buổi sai can ở ngày nâng hay sai nâng ở kia dương thơ assignment ở software sẵn một ngày tới đấy
xong rồi thấy cái assignment gì
assignment ở project thơ dùng ở hay nâng thơ UI kia dương fiction thơ còn hỏi
Đang anh ấy bắt thời đại đen lại lượn thế thì đúng không ai thì nhưng mà thôi mình tầm plat nè thế là plat ai hay là những thôi rồi dương chạy về liền làm nữa ok lấy chiều bà đó nè hiện tại admin này tiếng á gì đó mà càng ấy miền tràn chẳng hạn càng ấy miền tràn nhưng chạy càng hiện tại là anh ai lo ngày tràn tầm ngày năng tầm ngày sai thôi tao plat thì ok
ở con chờ
bên này thì trong xua ấy tại trong lab ấy Thêm toàn hai mình error ở trong tuổi chạm xuống mang lẹp này
មាន error ដែរតែចាំទៀងមើលខ្លួនឯងអស់ចិត្តសិនដល់ពេលតល់មែនតើសួរឆ្លើយទាំងគាត់
ơi nãy cái error ấy nhỉ upload đã không đi vào nhưng cả năng họ rồi mẹ chứ ao dương xui chia rồi nuôi rồiปัญหาnày dương vợ tranh cái hay hay và sân cho admin ấy xui nhưng mà thả thử thế còn nhưng chưa tham mình đã thua trên trời yeah mình ấy xui nhỉ any question and don't forget nãy cái thế hai sao mình actually I want if possible okay there are some course on the Coursera that you can take. The course is not that difficult. Some of the course is the course that we learning or what we already learned before. So I think you can take it on the Coursera, and I think it has benefit if you can complete the course. Okay. You can use it as your part of your portfolio or resume. You can print a certificate with your name. Okay. For example, related to this course, we have wait. We have some course that offered by Google, okay, on the Coursera, and you can take. I think it's easy. The internet's not working. Wait. Okay, I think my internet is not working. Browser is not loading. Okay. So I think while you are studying, I think you have much more time. Okay, you can spare your time just like I think only 2 or 3 hours a week. Okay, to take some course like this on the Coursera or other kind of learning platform. I think it's really beneficial for you to learn and get more credit for your future career. Okay, like software developer or system admin, or and if you are interested in the more advanced topic like cloud, like machine learning or AI. Okay. In the course run, they all offer those kind of course, and you can learn again. You will have a certificate with your name on it. Okay. And it's really a good credit for you. Those courses are offered by the tech giants like Google, okay, Meta, IBM, Amazon Web Service. Okay. So if you are if you can spare your time, okay, and if you are focusing on specific pathway to your career, so you should take it. I think, I believe. Okay. So now those who get the reward, don't forget to send me your name. Okay, it's not working. Cái miền ấy xưa à thế ấy khó ra mấy nhà dương miền Tây dương hiện thế này như rôm miền Tây Tây dương Pong rồi này tới đại dương miền Tây chạy thì kệ trong vậy chạy tại bây dương trên thời ca đấy dương là vô chỉ năng tiệt trong vậy chạy trong ai chứ đang thọ dậy chẳng toàn dương Pong riết dương sleep riêng course năng học thế vì chỉ credit là on với lại chỉ credit là on là những ai vô tập ra là không resume portfolio chẳng hạn. Vì chẳng hạn vì ai đi ban trường phòng trong thì chẳng liên dương thiên chết ra và thay một tiết. Ok. Hơi ní cứ account ní cứ chẳng thà những tình bạn mình thay được cái đọc đờ là thay ở thay thế đọc đờ là vào mỗi khai cho vậy. Chỉ subscription service với Coursera Plus cứ học sub. Ok. Mà khai tại account là nhóm ai dương chỉ reward hay năng ai tin không ai bán đi vì chỉ partใน Los Angeles Public Library nữa. Ok. Nên là miền cái lụa nắng cứ đọc đợt lá hay và bạn mỗi cái. Ok, vậy đây còn mình là chào lòng này dương mình quan tâm lợi dưới này cái dương trong sẽ chết được tạm chẳng chọn cái ra means no air là chia trong cloud. No question.
Toàn để chơi mình làm nói banh hai những xuyên sau đã làm team.
Okay. Okay, if you don't have any question, I think we can conclude our session today because I believe some of you are really not in the mood right now. Okay. Online class is really difficult to operate. So later, if we do online class, I will try to add some more activity for you. Okay. I hope you can do it. Okay, thank you for today for those who joined the session, and we'll continue next week. You can press now. Hello. Yeah. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Okay, have a nice weekend.